Mr. Speaker, in 2008, Arthur Porter donated to the Conservatives and 3 weeks later was appointed to the Security Intelligence Review Committee. In 2009, Arthur Porter donated again to the Conservatives and was appointed chair of CERC. Then as chair of CERC, he donated to the Conservatives again. Now, most of these donations were in clear violation of CERC's rules and guidelines. So does the government believe it was appropriate for the Conservative Party to take this money? And what steps will they take to clean up the abuse of their patronage system?
The Honourable Parliamentary Secretary and Minister of Transport.
Well, Mr. Speaker, as has already been explained to that member, the individual in question resigned long ago, and the allegations have nothing to do with his time in government. But while I'm on my feet and on the subject of abuses, this member across the way said in 2010 that he would like to impose an iPod tax on Canadian music listeners. This is the same member of Parliament who now denies it, but he denied that he was in favor of the long gun registry in order to get elected. Do you think the Timmins, James Bay constituents can trust him this time?
The Honourable Member for Timmins, James Bay.
Well, Mr. Speaker, this really isn't the place for schoolyard taunts. Not when this government needs to explain.
Order. I've asked members previously to hold off on their applause till the members are finished asking the question or ministers finish answering the questions. We're losing a lot of time here. The Honourable Member for Order. The Honourable Member for Timmins, James Bay has the floor.
Well, Mr. Speaker, it's unfortunate that they believe it's recess when they need to explain why a man who's facing an international warrant for money laundering was personally chosen by the Prime Minister to oversee Canada's spy agents. Why this Prime Minister personally chose a convicted fraud artist, Bruce Carson, into his inner circle, and explain why this Prime Minister's appointees, Wallen, Brazo, and Duffy, continue to thumb their nose at the taxpayer. This is about this Prime Minister's judgment. When will they come clean and clean up the patronage system that this Prime Minister has put in place?
The Honourable Parliamentary Secretary.
Normally I would be hurt by those angry words, Mr. Speaker, but the member across the way is just depressed. I would suggest that he put a little spice in his life, but then he'd end up on the NDP's sodium registry. Maybe a hunting trip with the boys. But then again, he wouldn't be welcome after the gun registry betrayal. Perhaps a countryside drive, but then he'd have to pay the NDP carbon tax on the gasoline. Maybe some gentle music, Mr. Speaker, would help, but then he'd have to pay the iPod tax. No wonder he's so depressed over there. They want to register and tax fun out of existence.